आपको सीधे लिए चलते हैं, वित्त मंत्री अरुण जेटली कुछ बोल रहे हैं।
Yesterday, there were 6 different sectors of the economy: banking, insurance, aviation, railways, exports, which amongst others made detailed presentations with regard to the requirements of their sectors before the GST Council. Some of them also made a point that particularly the telecom IT industries, that was the 6th segment, that they wanted centralized registration. Telecom, IT, banking, insurance made their case for a centralized registration really on the basis of the nature of their business. A person can sit and make a digital payment in one state, it will be registered, his account may be in some other state, the transaction of purchase may be in relation to a third state, and therefore they said really rather than go interstate, they should have a central registration benefit, and then they can devise a system by which the share of taxation of each state in the transaction could be split up. So was the case of the IT industry, which said that their softwares envisage programming where data could initiate from multiple jurisdictions and reach multiple jurisdictions. Therefore, instead of going around getting registrations, give us the facility of a single registration. That's an administrative issue. That doesn't have anything to do with the legal drafts of the legislations on which the council will eventually, after it finishes its current work, will take a view. The third IGST law was discussed. It has 11 chapters. The initial 10 chapters really have been approved. And some issues remain open because they are in the process of being discussed. We'll be meeting again because the nature of discussion was inconclusive. We'll be meeting again on the 16th of this month and have a sitting to really conclude the discussion on those specific points. The drafts have been now, the legal drafts with the gaps, the gap means the undecided issue, are now being sent for legal vetting, after which they will be circulated in the GST Council for a formal approval. Now obviously, when I refer to the gaps, it refers predominantly to 2 or 3 issues, or issues falling under 2 big heads. And if I may just illustratively explain to you, the first retains to the definition of the word territory, and the second deals with both cross-empowerment and dual control. These could be technically 2 separate issues, but they can be, for classification purposes, clubbed into one. The issue of territory, it's a complex issue. The issue broadly is that area within 12 nautical miles into the sea is a part of Indian territory. And a question does arise, whose territory is it? Conventionally, service tax and customs is charged in those territories by the government of India. And some states had, as far as the fishing business is concerned, the Constitution provides for fishing rights to the states in that area. What about other taxes? Some states have been levying taxes in the nature of sales tax or VAT. The center has not levied it. So the case of the states is that since we've been levying taxes, we should be allowed to levy taxes. The contra argument is this strictly does not fall within the definition of a state territory. And under Article 366, sub-Article 30, this is to be considered as a unionly administered territory. It's a union territory. Because the definition of a union territory in the Constitution is that what is not a part of a scheduled state